What's up YouTube? Robbie Vapes back again, and today we are checking out the KESA by Unique Vapor Innovations, so stay tuned. That's right guys, today we are checking out the KESA by Unique Vapor Innovations. Now if you haven't heard of Unique Vapor Innovations, here's a pretty much cut and dry version of them. They have a few devices out already. This is their newest device to market. They are a Canadian mod manufacturer, along with some other things. They do some mech mods, they do some regulated mods, they do a couple RDAs, they do a tank, but basically this is probably their best product to date. I've fallen in love with this thing. I won't ruin it too much. I'll leave my opinion to the end of this and just kind of show you guys off the device itself, some of the features of it, and we're actually doing something a little bit different this time around. What I want to do is try something a little bit different out and let you guys kind of be the judge of whether or not you want to see this for other videos going forward. And if you do, let me know in the comments. If you don't, it's all good too. But basically what we're going to do, instead of me rambling on about the features and then getting off topic like I always do, what we're going to do is just do a very quick, almost like a slideshow type presentation where the kind of features just listed there on the picture and you get to focus on the device rather than this ugly mug. It's a win-win, guys. I mean, let's face it. But anyways, we'll do that and let me know your thoughts. Now keep in mind this is my first attempt doing it. Hopefully it gets better as I go on. If you guys want me to even try to go on with that, or maybe you guys like me just going off topic when I list the features. So what we'll do is we'll do that first, then we'll come back here really quick. I'll talk a little bit about the features themselves, then we'll go down and dirty, check out the device, what you get in the box, things like that. Then we'll go back up top, talk about my personal opinion on the matter, and just go from there. So with that being said, here are the features on the KESA by Unique Vapor Innovations. Alright guys, so those were the features. I wanted to list them off for you guys. Let me know what you thought there. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, let me know. Basically, let me know what you want me to do, if I should be reading those features off instead of just having them listed in a slideshow kind of thing, making you guys read, because let's face it, no one likes to fucking read anymore. But anyways, let me know. But let's talk about the features themselves, because there's a few I really want to focus on in particular. The one most impressive feature to me, in my mind, has got to be the battery temp control. And now what that means is you're basically regulating the temperature of the battery so that if it gets too hot, it'll actually shut down the device, which I love. I think that's an awesome feature. I don't know any other devices that have it on them, and I think that's probably one of the most important features to have when talking about battery safety. We all know battery safety, don't do this kind of build on a battery if you're doing a mech mod. I'm not going to get into the battery safety thing. I'm not going to get technical with you guys, but we all have a rough understanding of battery safety and what it means. But never have we had a device, at least to my knowledge, that has actually given us the ability to see the temperature of the battery as we're vaping, but also to have an automatic shut-off feature if the battery gets too hot. To me, that's honestly my favorite feature. It was actually on one of their other products that, to be honest, was a little bit of a flop. It wasn't a bad product. I actually really liked it, but a couple of people didn't. It seems to have like a love-hate relationship. You either loved it or you didn't love it, or I guess you hated it. But basically what it was the Ray. I thought it was a really unique mod. I thought it was really cool. It definitely, wasn't as portable as what people were asking for. This one's got that portability aspect of it, which I really like. By the way, right now I'm repping the KESA tank, the KESA RTA on top of this, and 70 watts, 0.13 ohm build, and 3 volts, so. Nice, clean vapor, nothing wrong with it. Anyways, guys. So that's kind of the feature I want to focus on the most, because I feel like it needs to be put out there as something that should be done on a lot more mods than what it is. It's great, like the DNAs have a temperature sensor on their boards, so if, it'll tell you what the board temperature is, but it doesn't have one for the battery, and I really wish it had one for the batteries as well, because I think that's a huge aspect for these devices, is having that kind of built-in battery safety and overheat protection. One of the other things I want to talk about really quickly is just the overall simplicity of this design, of this chip, I guess. How to change different modes, how to use it in different modes, things like that. Now it does have temperature control. The temperature control, at least right now, is just for nickel. I don't know if they have any plans to expand into stainless steel and titanium, but it is good to know that you do have temp control on this device. That was one thing that people were asking for on the Ray, was the temperature control. They did come back and put it into this one. It's also on the X-Power as well, which is their other kind of 75 watt mod that they have. So that's coming out as well, or that actually already is out. I did a review on that one out a couple months ago. But this is kind of the newest product, and I guess that being said, you know, let's not ramble on anymore. Let's get down. All right, guys, we are down and dirty with the KESA. Here's the packaging right here. Really simple packaging, of course. The KESA. This is the black model. Turning it over to the back here. One-piece KESA, one-piece user manual, one-piece USB charger. Taking it out from the box, here we have the user manual here. Just skim through it really quickly. If you guys want to pause it, by all means. Of course, a little thank you note. You got the KESA, what's included. Introduction. Again, if you guys want to pause it, just feel free anytime. You have the technical parameters or the specs right along the side here. And of course the components as well. You have a whole bunch of other more information, some safety information here as well, which I really like. But we'll put that off to the side, and let's just take this out of the box. There's the device right there. This is the black one, like I said before. I will show you the silver one here in just a moment, because they do come in 2 different colors at the moment. I think there might be more on the way. I'm not entirely sure. We take that little piece off, and we have the USB charger at the bottom there. Now this is USB charging compatible, so you can charge the 18650 while it's in the device itself, which is a nice feature as well. And on top of that, it does have pass-through, so if you want to charge it and vape on it at the same time, you definitely can if you wanted to. So we'll move that box off to the side, and let's get out this device. So here's the black one, and here is the silver one. As you can see here, they both have that really nice logo in the center. I think the logo stands out really nicely on the black device. Personally, you have the chip or the screen here with the UVI chip in here, which is a proprietary chip. It's unique to them as well. And on top here, I have the crown with the 0.5 coil in here, which works really nicely at around 60 watts. And of course, on this one, I had the Creus RTA. So moving on from there, let's talk about switching modes really quickly. All you have to do is hit the up and down button together and hold it down. There we go. We're in temp mode. Hold it down again. We have a mech mode as well, and it'll actually read out your voltage on there and your wattage. So your voltage is over here, your wattage is over there, your resistance. So it will show you that. Moving on, we go back to wattage mode, and there you go. Now, before we go into that, let's talk about the on-off feature. 5 clicks on, and 5 clicks off. And I just said that in reverse order, but hopefully you guys got what I mean. Anyways, if you want to lock it and not turn it off, it's just simply down and power. It's now locked. As you can see, please unlock device. To unlock it, same thing again, power and down. Now powering up in wattage mode does nothing, as you can see, but if we go to temperature mode, what it does is it actually allows you to adjust the wattage in temperature mode. So right now, as you can see here, it's at 70 watts, 511 degrees Fahrenheit. This is just randomly screwing around with it. This isn't actually what I was vaping on, but if you want to change the wattage up in that, or up in power, and now you have the option to change the wattage to wherever you want. To lock it in, just click the power button and it locks in. Now going back to wattage mode, because that's my preferred mode. As I mentioned before, temperature control is currently just for nickel. I don't know if they have any plans to expand to stainless or to titanium, but that will be nice to know. I'll try and get an update on that and let you guys know in the comment section. But what we'll do is we'll actually do a temperature test as well on this device, just to see if it's going to burn the coil or not, and see if it passes. But that's pretty much the features. Super simple to use, very easy to design. Like I said, there's 2 colors right now, the silver and the black. Both work about the same. But before we do the temperature test, what we're going to do next is the actual voltage test, because a lot of people have said that an 18650 battery cannot power an 80 watt device. Now there's a lot of devices out there that are in that 75 to 80 watt mark, and the ultimate question is, how does this one stack up, and how true does it read to what it's actually hitting? So we'll do that test next, and we'll check it out. Alright guys, here's the voltage test on the KESA with the crown tank and the 0.5 ohm coil, which is reading at, voltage-wise, 6.45 volts. Now, I actually scoured through like 10 of these little voltmeter things, try and find one that was actually accurate. This one tests on my DNA pretty close. So I'm thinking this is going to be our best bet here, but the biggest reason for this test, because a lot of speculation is actually around the fact that can an 18650 battery actually power up to 80 watts, and that's what we're going to find out. Anyways, guys, 6.64 volts, what we're looking for. Let's fire it up and see what it hits. 6 would help if this wasn't upside down either. So let's turn it this way and see if we can get a good reading out of this. So now it's saying 7.22 volts, and we're hitting at 6.65, 6.11, 6.53. Watch where it says watts and watch what the battery temperature reads. Now I've been chain hitting this, I guess I should say, quite a bit. So let's see how the battery looks in comparison. So there we go. We have the watts. 39 degrees Celsius is the battery. 38 degrees, 39 degrees. So it's still in that very safe range, and that's maxing out at 80 watts as well. Now, again, here we go. We're seeing it in that 6.12 range, 6.13. And again, this isn't probably the most accurate way to test, but that's all I have right now. And I feel like 0.75 volts for voltage drop is not bad at all, considering. And there you go right here, 6.99. And let's look at it again. So 5.79 you saw on the left side. I didn't get the chance to see on the right side because I was focusing there. But yeah, as I'm firing, I'm realizing it's not actually going to the 7 volts. And I think it's kind of flopping up and down a little bit here, but that might be because of this thing in between, not giving it a clean hit. But as you can see here, like I said, it is reading pretty well, or pretty close to what it's saying. So 6.82, I believe that is. And we're hitting at 6.18. So again, we're in that 0.7, 0.6 range for voltage drop. Just kind of proving that this thing can hit pretty hard for an 80 watt single 18650 battery. And again, that battery temperature sensor is awesome. So yeah, so there you go, guys. There was the voltage test. Just wanted to show you the voltage drop. Let's go back to the down and dirty view, and we'll take a look at the last few features I want to show you, and we'll go back up top and talk about this device. Alright guys, so here we have the nickel test, or the temperature control test for the KESA. We have it at 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Unfortunately, I don't have an unused nickel coil, so the only one I actually have is the one for the crown, which is what I'm using right now. So what we'll hopefully see, assuming this works, is that as we keep doing the test, the amount of vapor should keep on reducing gradually as the cotton gets drier and drier. Now, if we don't see that, then it means it's a fail, but if we do see that, it means it is passing the temperature control test. I do really wish I had a bone dry coil to test on, but this is all I have. In fact, this is actually the only nickel coil I have right now, period. I don't have a lot of nickel left, and it's something that a lot of reviewers, to be honest, are going away from. But for anyone who is interested in nickel, this obviously could work as well. It will be interesting to see if they do have a stainless steel and a titanium option available for temp control on a later date, if it's going to be upgradable or not. I'll get all that information to you as I find out. But here we go. So what we should start seeing is the vapor reducing as it gets drier. So here we go, 500 degrees Fahrenheit with the crown coil, and let's check it out. So there you go, it's burning the juice, burning the juice. Take a quick pause. Burn the juice. And I think it's actually starting to slow down there. So hit it, and we're seeing less and less vapor, less and less vapor. There's almost no vapor at all now. So it is starting to get a little bit dry. Let's get some there, so let's see it again. Little bit, it's getting dry now. It's definitely slowing down, so it is definitely regulating itself a little bit. In fact, it's completely stopped now, looks like, for the most part. Getting the last little bit of juice out of there, but for the most part, it's pretty much stopped. So there you go, guys. I'm going to say that's a pass. Again, it would be nice to see the actual test on a dry coil to see how it works, but I think we saw it drastically reduce as this coil started getting drier and drier. So there you go, guys. That's the temperature control test. Let's crank it up to 572 and see what happens. We should still have a little bit of juice in here, so it might burn off a little bit more, but let's see if it reduces again like it did last time. So there you go, a little bit left, and then it's almost stopped now, so there's not much coming out. Yeah, there we go again. So I hit it, a little bit came out at the beginning, and it's pretty much stopped. A little bit of residue coming out of there, but I would give that a pass. I mean, we saw how much it performed earlier when we had pretty much a nice wet or moist coil, and now that it's starting to dry out, it's definitely cutting back significantly, so that's kind of a pretty good sign that it is going to regulate itself in temperature control mode, which is a huge plus. So what do you say we go back up top now and talk about this device a little bit more, overall pros and cons, who's it recommended for, and things like that. So I'll see you guys back up top. All right, guys, we're back up top with the KESA. We're going to talk about a few more things, and we'll end the review after that. Two things I want to talk about that I haven't brought up just yet. We're going to talk about the battery lifespan and the price point on this device. Now, battery lifespan, of course, is going to vary depending on what battery you're using in this. Based on my experience, I had about 65 to 70 watts with the LG HG2 3000 milliamp hour batteries. I was getting roughly 4 to 5 hours battery life out of them. With the Samsung 25Rs, I was getting about 3 hours battery life out of it, give or take. So I did find that it was quite variant depending on what battery you are using, which, you know, for what it's worth, I don't know if you guys want to judge it based on what batteries you have, or if you want to judge it based on, you know, what it's capable of with the battery, like I said, an LG HG2, which is one of my favorite batteries for single 18650 devices, and also for pretty much all my devices, actually. I'm loving these LG HG2s. They're probably one of my favorite ones. As you saw, I did have a Smurf in my, I think it was a silver one I showed you guys when I took out the battery. And again, with that one I was getting about 3 hours battery life. But the charge time on this, so again, there is an onboard charger, so you can plug it into charge. You're looking at only about a 2 hour charge time, which is really good. I found with the LGs there's maybe 2.5 hours, but the Smurfs were charging about 2 hours. You have pass-through on it, so you can vape it while it's charging, and it just really has that really nice feel to it. Having a quick charger built into the device, and also having the ability to last as long as what it does. I think that's something that's missing in this market, in this market segment, and the market segment I'm talking about is that 75 to 80 watt device range. The Sigeli 75s, the IPV-D2, the IPV-D3, the X-Cube Mini 2, or the X-Cube 2 Mini, all those 75 to 80 watt devices kind of thing. From my experience personally, I found battery life was the one downfall to all of them, and this one has a really good battery life, and the charging on it is super quick. It's one of my favorite features on it. I don't know if it was built with that intent, but it does charge really nicely. It has overcharge protection as well, so you don't have to worry about that. And just in general, it's a really nice, really well-built device, just based on my opinion on it. Now, price range, of course, the price range on this device is definitely in line with what it has, feature-wise, and the build quality of it. So the price range on this goes for about $75 US and about $90 to $100 Canadian. Now, the US market is so inconsistent when it comes to buying devices. I've seen Sigeli 75s in that range, but I've also seen them for a lot less, a lot more. I just found that the market in the US right now is super inconsistent. You go to one website and an IPV-D2 is running you $70 or $70 to $80, and then you go to another website and it's running you for, you know, $45. So it's really tough to judge which pricing to go off of, but it is in line with what it should be at for its actual price point, and how its competitors are priced out as well. So it is in that $75 range US, $100 range Canadian, which again, I know personally based on my brick and mortar shop that I go to a lot, they're selling the D3s for $105, they're selling the D2s for $100, or maybe it's $90 to $100. So it falls exactly in line with its competitors up here in Canada, and the States, again, it's about in line with what you pay for most of these devices that I'm talking about in the US as well. Give or take, yeah, you can find some deals going on, don't get me wrong. But again, it's in that price range. So you are in that competing range. It might be a few bucks higher, $5, $10 higher kind of thing. But for what you're getting, the question is, and I can't answer this, it's up to you guys to answer. For what you're getting, do you guys feel it's worth it? You know, is this something that you would go out and buy? Or is it something you may want to pass on if you're in the market for a 75 watt device? Does this all of a sudden come into play, or are you stuck on your ways with, say, Sigelis or IPVs because you're brand loyal? And if you are, I completely understand that. I mean, you know, that's just how it is. I was pretty loyal to Sigeli for the longest time, and I still am for the most part. So ultimately, it comes down to that question. You know, is it something that appeals to you, both visually and feature-wise? that's pretty much it. So there you go, guys. That's the KESA by Unique Vapor Innovations. My overall impression on it has been pretty positive. I've had no issues with mine. Both the silver one, which I've actually been using for about a month now, and the black one, which I just got for the purposes of this review to show off the color. Overall, I mean, it's been a great experience for me. As I mentioned before, it's just one of those things where it's super easy to navigate, and you know, 80 watts is enough for a lot of devices. There are some higher powered devices coming out now that, you know, 80 watts probably isn't going to be capable of handling. I just got my hands on 2 new high wattage devices, the Magnus Ceramica and the Z-Pal Coral. Both of those are 100 watt plus range devices. I don't recommend them any lower than that, just based on my personal experience with them so far. And I actually will have a big heavyweight sub-ohm tank showdown, so the high wattage showdown between some of these new tanks coming out that are super crazy high wattage. The Z-Pal can go up to 200 watts, the Ceramica goes up to 160 watts, I've heard people taking up to 170, 180 watts. It will be interesting to test it out. Of course, I'll be testing those wattages out on my DNAs to get a true reading, because it's just the most accurate way to test out these wattages. But overall, like I said, for this device though, going back on track before I get too far off topic, if you're in that 30 to 55, 60, 70 watt range already and you want to stay in that range, I think this is a great alternative. I think it's a new option out there that just gives you one more thing to select from with the vast majority of these single 18650 mods coming out. It is nice to have options, and I think that given the overall look, the overall appearance of these devices, I think this might be one to consider. But again, that's up to you guys. That will end it here, guys. I'm not going to ramble on too much longer. I probably made this video way longer than it needed to be. But anyways, guys, that's my review on the KESA by Unique Vapor Innovations. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are so far, and I'm going to vape us out. So, thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe this video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, then dislike it. But maybe leave me a comment as to what I could do to improve it. And yeah, so we'll end it there. So, thanks for watching, guys. As always, happy vaping. I was about to say happy YouTubing. Yeah, happy YouTubing, guys. Oh, fuck. It's getting late. Anyways, we'll end the video here.